What made the high school legend become a legend? Our principal, Mr. Walsh, had this power trip thing where he'd confiscate phones and make you pay $25 to get them back. He called it a responsibility fee, but everyone knew it was just illegal theft. The worst part was that you keep phones for weeks if you couldn't pay, and parents rarely fought it because they figured the school knew what they were doing. This quiet kid, Danny, was in my lunch period when it happened again. He was texting his mom about picking him up early for a dentist appointment when Walsh swooped right behind him with his usual grin. Walsh forcefully grabbed Danny's iPhone and started his usual power speech. "Mr. Peterson, you know the policy. Phones are a distraction from learning. You can retrieve this on Friday for the standard fee, or we can call your parents to discuss your inability to follow simple rules." Danny just sat there calm as anything and said, "Okay, but you should probably know that phone is worth $200. It's the new iPhone 17 Pro Max my dad got me for making honor roll." Walsh actually laughed, like threw his head back and everything. "Nice try, kid. I've heard every sob story. Pay the $25 or wait until Friday like everyone else." Danny shrugged. "All right, can I at least get a receipt for the confiscation? You know, something that shows you took my property and when I can expect it back? We don't do receipts for disciplinary actions." "Interesting." Danny pulled out a completely different phone from his backpack. This kid had two phones. He dialed 911 right there in the cafeteria while Walsh watched. "Hi, I'd like to report a theft in progress. Someone just stole my $200 phone, refuses to give me any documentation, and is demanding money for its return. The person who stole it is standing right here." Walsh's face went from smug to panicked in about 2 seconds. "Hang up that phone right now. Actually, sir, you can't confiscate this one. It belongs to the school district. I'm a student aide in the main office, and this is my work phone." The 911 operator asked for the location, and Danny gave our school address. Walsh tried to grab the phone, but Danny stepped back. The thief is now attempting to steal a second device. 20 minutes later, 2 police officers walked into our cafeteria. Half the school was watching by then because word travels fast. Danny calmly explained that his personal property was taken without due process, no receipt was provided, and he was being extorted to get it back. "Officer, I understand schools have disciplinary policies, but taking someone's property and demanding payment for its return is called theft and extortion in the real world." Turns out Danny's dad was a paralegal who had coached him on exactly what to say and how to say it. The kid knew more about property law than our principal. The police asked Walsh to explain the policy. Walsh stammered about school rules and learning consequences, but the officers weren't buying it. "Sir, unless this is outlined in the student handbook as a fine with proper due process, you've essentially stolen this student's phone and are holding it for ransom." They even made him open his desk drawer right there. There weren't just Danny's phone. There were 37 confiscated phones in that drawer. Some had been there for months, forcing kids to literally buy new ones. The officers took photos and made Walsh return every single one immediately. Parents started showing up within hours asking questions about where all those responsibility fees had been going. Turns out Walsh had been pocketing the money for 2 years. The school board launched an investigation, audited his finances, and discovered he'd stolen over $17,000 from students, all from those $20 fees. Walsh resigned in disgrace before they could fire him. Danny never got in trouble because technically he was the victim of a crime, all because one quiet kid knew the difference between school discipline and actual theft. Danny became an absolute legend for taking down the most hated administrator in school history with one phone call.